Bum, bum, ba-da-dun, dun, dun-dun-dun, dun, dun-dun-dun, dun, dun-dun-dun, dun, dun-dun-dun, dun. This is the last in our series of screencasts about ancient history. This one covering the rise of Christianity, the dominant, most popular religion in the world today, and the fall, question mark, of Rome. Let's begin. Judaism and Christianity at this time, around the year zero in our modern way of numbering the years, there are many different teachers, or rabbis in Hebrew. Rabbi literally means teacher, traveling around Judea, or the Roman province of Israel, here in the modern day Middle East. In Hebrew, Joshua, or as we know him in translation, Jesus' teachings are essentially Jewish teachings. He is raised a Jew. He is called rabbi by his followers, and he is crucified as a Jew. He preaches the importance of a covenant, of the Jews' special relationship with God. He frequently talks about God as a shepherd who cares for his flock and his people. And he emphasizes the preaching to outcasts and outsiders, to prostitutes, to tax collectors, to Jewish people traditionally seen outside of the main dominant Roman culture and of the mainstream. What happens is, after his crucifixion by the Romans, mainly because he is viewed as a threat to the Roman Empire and the Roman government, and the punishment for treason and rebellion is crucifixion. They actually crucified lots of people, not just Jesus. After his death, his teachings start to be a variant of Judaism. All of the early followers of the teachings of Jesus are Jews. However, an important event happens again, spurred by the actions of Rome, that lead to a split between Christianity and Judaism. And that is the Great Jewish Uprising from 66 to 70 CE. At this point, all of the Jewish homeland and followers and cultural developments, as well as Jesus' disciples and his friends and relations, are in Jerusalem. But there is an uprising to throw out Roman rule, which is crushed by the Romans. They have the biggest army in the world outside of Han, China, and they invade Jerusalem. Here is a painting of the sacking of the Jewish temple. You can see them throwing Jews off the wall, hauling away Jewish menorahs and other Jewish valuables. This leads to the Jewish diaspora. Jews are made to leave their homeland in Israel, its capital of Jerusalem, and spread throughout the Roman Empire. A thing that continues and is true for the next almost 2,000 years until World War II and the Holocaust, at which point many Jews believe they need to return to their homeland after being expelled by the Romans to ensure their safety and security, at which point they create the modern nation of Israel. This also leads to the split and the spread of Christianity. Now the people who were attracted to the Jewish teachings of Jesus are thrown out of Jerusalem and spread across the empire, and they take Christianity in a new direction and make it its own religion. The crucial figure in this shift is known originally at birth as Saul and comes to be known as Paul. He opens up this Jewish sect to all people. The quote of Paul from the Bible is, "There is neither Jew nor Greek, neither slave nor free, neither man nor woman. All are one in Christ," emphasizing that the teachings of Christ are open to all, not just Jewish. You no longer need to be Jewish to follow the teachings of Jesus. Men no longer have to be circumcised as they do under Judaism, and this proves to be a somewhat more attractive option for men than the process of circumcision. And you also no longer have to keep kosher in your eating and your dietary habits. This brings up the question, why did Rome continue to persecute Christians? And you can read more about this in the online portion. The spread of Christianity is slow but steady and increasingly dramatic. It grows from about 1 to 5% of the population in Judea to about 10% across the entire Roman Empire a couple hundred years later. The spread of Christianity is a model for the spread of all future world religions. Starts with the importance of a charismatic leader, Jesus, as a small Jewish sect. It grows to a small persecuted minority under Paul, traveling around the eastern regions near Greece and Turkey, and famously doing letter after letter to the towns and the communities he has visited. And it ends in most important world religious cases with acceptance and formalization. It has a clear doctrine, it is widely accepted and promulgated, and the example leader for this portion is Constantine. Constantine is a Roman emperor who was born around about 280 and dies in 337 CE. Rome at this point is no longer in the Pax Romana period. It has been split into different portions. He tries to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. According to story and legend, at one important battle against a competing Roman general, he has a dream beforehand about putting the Kairos, the symbol of Christ, on his flags and on his banners, and he does so, and he is triumphant, and he therefore begins to promote Christianity across the region. However, he does allow the older pagan polytheistic cult and religions to continue, and he importantly does not convert and is not baptized into Christianity until his death. Which brings us to the fall of Rome. As I was alluding to, after the end of the Pax Romana, over about 100-year period, there are increasing wars between generals for control of Rome. This is a time of tumult, and there are 26 emperors over 50 years during this period. There are assassinations, there are plots, there are ongoing problems as well. They debase the coinage. In other words, trim off pieces of gold and silver to mint new coins, and this means each coin is worth slightly less. They tend to overtax their people because they know that they are probably not going to rule for long. They try and squeeze as much money out as they can. We also see the influx of infectious diseases across the region, a drop in the overall population, flight from towns and urban centers, and invasions. Huns come into Rome and attack, as well as other Germanic tribal groups, all invading and causing problems during this entire period. The traditional fall of Rome is dated to 476 CE, with the last invasion of the Germanic barbarians. However, as I've been alluding to, it is in fact a gradual process they've had multiple invasions. Rome itself has been attacked and invaded multiple times, and it's only definitively the end of Rome in hindsight. The other important thing to note is that the conquering Germanic tribal groups, who we call Germanic tribes, or the Romans called barbarians, view themselves as Roman. They think of themselves as Roman. Quite a few of them had served in the Roman army. Quite a few of them are Christian and speak Latin or govern in Latin. So does it fall in the West at this time? Maybe. The other important thing to note is the persistence of the Eastern Roman Empire. Half of the empire, the wealthiest half, continues for 1,000 more years. The Eastern Roman Empire, what we come to know as the Byzantine Empire, lasts until 1453 CE, and they as well thought of themselves as Roman and governed by Roman law and promulgated Christianity just like the Western Roman Empire. So whether this is the fall of Rome, how we date the fall of Rome, if we should even count it as Rome when the Roman Empire continues for 1,000 more years, is still a matter of some debate. Thank you very much for hearing all of these slideshows, and goodbye.